long would you think, James?
It varies with the knife.
The wood you're cutting,
but it's the wood you're cutting and the care you take with it, how well you clean it up and all that good stuff. But who you let borrow it?
I don't let anybody borrow it.
No, that's why we all got our own knife.
And
I use it to core apples when I'm done grafting. No.
When you
crack nuts.
Anything that's got acid, don't.
Exactly. I don't use it on anything but trees and
Japanese maples.
But it's good enough metal that it gets dull so slow that you don't really know how long it lasts until you sharpen it and say, God, that thing is dull.
I do. I just do it by myself. I pull around. I have more. I can cut the wood. I have more problem time. Actually practice it all the time. I came in one day and I don't know it all the time. Like practicing juggling. Couldn't do that forever.
So you don't use rubber bands on
I don't like the rubber, because Ken, I'm with Ken on that. I feel the buddy tape will hold it. The rubber bands need to come off in about 2 weeks. And I may forget about it, because he said he's had a lot of problems with rubber bands. It's just killing them. The buddy tape will hang in there pretty good.
I like the rubber band. You can see it a little bit better where the grass seal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a.
I think it's a personal.
I mean,
yeah.
You can do it either
yeah.
way.
I think you can do it either way. I really do. But the buddy tape is hell for me.
All right, this is righty.
Oh yeah.
We got us the mat, Richard.
I don't like to go real deep.
You're like me. That's about what I do. Okay.
Let's go ahead and take that off. I'm gonna leave that just so it'll dry out back down to it.
Yeah, tip.
Tips off a little bit.
Not much.
I mean, it'll take long to get that where it needs to be before we start on the other side. See, I'm really getting into it here.
Yeah.
See, I hardly ever use these when I'm doing it. I generally wax them.
Yeah,
so.
you wax.
Peggy's got
wax
different.
is quicker.
Super critical.
For you, it is.
Yeah, it's old school. I just like it better.
It doesn't affect the
Peggy, she's better with these. I don't.
And you're not going to be
You can watch her tie these on. She's got a perfect method for that.
She said she got that from Philip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she puts it all the way up the scion.
Yeah, she goes all the way completely.
She said she really liked it. Since then, her percentage has been a lot better.
Try to eliminate that problem I had with your buds over there.
I just try to encase it like I would with the wax.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. On a Matoi.
Not much. I mean,
Where a lot of people go in, they cut at an angle in, and
You want a 5-degree angle.
Skin back and expose the cambium. You're not
And
trying to.
when they cut in like that, it's really hard to line up the cambiums a lot more.
You're probably looking at a 5, maybe a 10-degree cut.
You want a very clean, straight cut.
I'm listening.
Sliding your blade sideways. Most people overwater their grafts as soon as they get through. They're like, that's what our major mistake was our first year. We got excited, and I said, oh, they're about to come out. Let's water them. And what you'll do is you'll end up flooding the graft.
Also making sure your rootstocks are active.
The third thing after those are 1 and 2. The third thing I would say is making sure your rootstocks are dried out so the sap's not too high in your rootstock. Mistake a lot of people make is they just keep the rootstock almost active. They're watering it up until the point. I have broke them out of the snow before and grafted to them, and I don't recommend it. You can get some to take that way, but you don't want the water to be so high that the sap's pushing the graft off, because it'll flood the graft and push it off the graft. So
basically, you wouldn't water. This is sufficient. You probably wouldn't water this for at least a week.
He don't need it.
oh, more than that until the
Yeah,
graft
just let it go.
almost 3 or 4
Well,
weeks.
you're not gonna sit it out in the broiling hot sun, but you'd sit it in the shade. Or
Certainly.
whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Certainly, yeah. I keep all mine inside, bow frames actually inside of a house, so they're actually in double protection inside of a greenhouse than inside of small bow frames with white plastic that's about 50% shade.
And the humidity and so forth is you're still getting cool nights in there because you don't want them to bust yet. You want them to sit for a few weeks, right?
Most of my trees are already breaking leaf. So what I do is
in the greenhouse.
once I get them in leaf, then I heat those bow frames. I just try to keep them above freezing because I don't want that new growth to get hit by they don't want them to freeze. The sap's high in it, so I don't want it to get below freezing. So I keep them heated at about 40 degrees minimum during the night so they don't get too cold.
Okay.
Okay. Number 4 and 5.
4 and 5. Let's see. I would say making sure you have a really sharp knife is another piece that's crucial. Like Tom was looking at earlier, his knife wasn't sharp before he started cutting. You'll cut yourself quick doing that. It won't be a clean cut if it's not a sharp enough blade, because you'll end up the main mistake people make there is the blade's not so sharp, so they try to push through instead of sliding their blade and making a clean cut. You just let the knife do all the work. You just let it be a sliding, clean cut.
It's down and
instead of pushing down into it hard. You see people doing.
That's what I was.
You see some guy doing this grafting, you better just stand back. He's gonna be a few fingers less. It's gonna. They're all not gonna be this thick. These are excellent size. I mean, these are much larger than 1/4 inch even scions or rootstocks. So you're gonna be cutting on some things that are smaller eventually. And if you're doing this method, it's going through it, and you're going to cut yourself. I've done it. Tim's done it. It's inevitable. It's just a bad method to go with. So make sure you have a clean, sharp knife. The next thing I would stress is probably cleaning your knife. I know that sounds similar, but alcohol in between each set so that I don't spread disease from tree to tree. When you're collecting your scions, I clean the trimmers between each stock plant that I trim from, because you don't want to collect scion wood. If this was a stock tree and I come and I cut some scions off of it, and then I went over to this and say this is ambergose and this is shishigashira, and this ambergose has really bad pseudomonas and black spotting in the bark, I could transfer a lot of that disease from here to here. And you'll see garden centers trim their trees cosmetically, and you'll go there and they'll have 15, 20 different cultivars, but they all have the same black spotting in them. And they didn't come from the nursery that way, but what's happened is some of the employees at the garden center have said, oh, this looks better with this limb out, and then they go, oh, I think I'll do this, and they've spread this disease around. So it's very important to clean in between, at least minimum in between each set of grafts.
And you're just cleaning with alcohol.
Or alcohol. Bill uses a bleach, 10% Clorox, and I think that's a great way to do it. I don't like using alcohol actually on the scions because it's going to pull water away from the graft, and the last thing you want to do is dry it out. So.